welcome. You're watching Now Showing. I'm Atika Farooqui. This episode pays tribute to a yesteryear maestro, and it also has a director that directed one of the best movies of this year. So what are we waiting for? Let's jump right in with the headlines. This week's Netflix release, Jogi, is based on a tragedy but talks of hope, friendship and compassion. Sunny Deol, Dulquer Salmaan and R Balki talk about their latest film Chup, The Revenge of the Artist, and Guru Dutt's influence on the story. Darling's director Jasmeet K Reen talks about the film that changed her life. And Asees Kaur's sister Deedar Kaur talks about her new song. Let's talk about this week's release, Jogi, that has released on Netflix. 1984, like some other organized riots and killings, has been sketched in our memory. Always painful. The past films on these subjects have been many, but director Ali Abbas Zafar's Jogi, headlined by Diljit Dosanjh, who plays Jogi, has a friendship between three people of different faiths at the heart of its plot. The past history, betrayals and the outcome that manifests itself in the face of this pogrom against the Sikh community in Trilokpuri area of Delhi, the worst affected in 1984 outrage against the Sikh community after the assassination of the then Prime Minister. Should there be any connection between an assassination of an eminent personality and a backlash on people bearing similar names as the killers? Think about it. That's what the movie makes one think. An assassination brings out the best of friendship vows as they lay their own lives and jobs at risk, and it also brings to the surface the simmering hatred between two friends who had a fallout in the past. Written by Ali Abbas Zafar and Sukhmani Sadana, it does not get into intense emotional dramas as its predecessors like Punjab 1984, Grahan 31st October did. It keeps the story focused on the three friends and the escape of a few members of the Sikh community into safety. Even without the goriest scenes of arson and killings portrayed in other films of the same theme, Jogi does keep you glued to the screen with the heart pounding with fear too. In all, it's a sensitive portrayal of a tragedy that does pain but ultimately is a sweet story of hope and compassion. I suggest you do watch it on Netflix. Director R Balki's film Chup, The Revenge of an Artist, is a tribute to Guru Dutt's Kagaz Ke Phool. Starring Dulquer Salmaan and Sunny Deol, the story has been kept under wraps, with Dulquer Salmaan definitely playing the artist. Here are the three in conversation with me, where they refuse to give away the spoilers. I'll come to Dulquer. When I had got these flowers, the same day I watched the teaser on Instagram. एक आर्टिस्ट का रिवेंज तो हमने कभी सोचा ही नहीं था. An artist is supposed to give. He's supposed to touch the hearts of the world. You are playing that artist who takes revenge, right?
What's the film?
And is he? No, let's not go there. You have to elaborate. Are you an artist? Are you a murderer? Are you an artist who turns into a murderer? And what is your connection with Guru Dutt? Why is this song playing behind you when you do this?
I just work in a flower shop. I make these because I like Guru Dutt.
You may be missing the murderer here.
I know that.
My biggest takeaway from the film was learning to make these.
He actually made.
True. You did? You
couple.
learned
I
how to
had
do
fun
it?
making them.
We learned how to do it in school.
Even if they're shifting the shot, I continued making it.
So एक alternate career तो बनता है. And what is it about the film that when the producers had called you कि एक film है, which got you excited about it?
I think it is basically, you know, हमेशा मेरा everybody knows I'm a very instinctive guy. मेरे को चीज़ पसंद आती है, I get so excited, I just want to do it there and then. And that's how this thing all started. Balki came to me and he narrated me the subject, and I was so thrilled, and I mean it was so fresh because हमेशा हमें वही चीज़ें आ रही हैं.
Exactly.
कोई रीमेक आ रहा है या कोई किसी को बायोपिक बनानी है, ये करना है, वो करना है, तो कुछ जब हम नई बात करते हैं तो वी टॉकिंग अबाउट समथिंग फ्रेश, समथिंग ओरिजिनल, एंड दैट्स व्हाट दिस फिल्म इज ऑल अबाउट. एंड आई एम सो हैप्पी दैट द ट्रेलर लोगों को पसंद आ रहा है, एंड दे आर एक्चुअली जेन्युइनली लाइकिंग इट.
What is that one scene in the film that I should look forward to, which is worth doing that film for you?
I think it's not just a scene which summarizes the whole thing, what you're trying to do in the film. It's a whole character, how it is trying to do what it wants to do, and it keeps hitting dead ends and wanting to do something else and trying to find a path somewhere. And that's what it is basically.
So I can connect Gurudat to Sunny Deol ji here. How? He donned all the 4 hats in one project. He produced, directed, acted and wrote one project like Kagaz Ke Phool, Pyasa, several others. You have also done the same thing.
You see, basically what happens is, even my film, which was Dil Lagi, it started off in a very interesting way. It was, I was doing a film which didn't happen, and I was very keen on wanting that film to happen. So I got down to my dad and I said, Dad, here's a subject which I have, I've worked on it and everything. And I want to direct. Can I narrate it to you? I narrated. I said, do you think I can? He said, go ahead, do it. And somehow, when your father says something, go do it.
Yeah.
It's like everything you can do, anything on earth, And वहाँ से मेरी कहानी शुरू हुई थी. And obviously, film released, it was against my image. It was against everything what I was in the film industry, what people knew me for. So it didn't do well at the box office. But I used to get a lot of comments from a lot of people that we really enjoyed the film. Why don't you do more like that? But I didn't want to do after that.
But you say that you were not successful with that. That's exactly the point you were making. I remember that film. Dil Lagi.
Yeah, I loved it.
Urmila Matondkar was there, Bobby Deol was there, you were there. She falls in love with one brother, but ultimately, it's such a beautiful play of relationships.
Yeah.
When you say that films are not ahead or behind their time, it's people that they have a little bit of a catching up to do with such subjects.
It's
right?
the image which takes over you, That's the problem, It's very difficult to break your image. And unless and until you have something which is very there for you to do, and somebody gives you something, you can do it. But you can't take a big risk with it. So it has to be, the content has to be so strong that you go along with it. And it shouldn't be so expensive that it denters at success, because it will work. But because the good thing is always works, but it may not work because it may not bring back that kind of money which has been put into the film.
It says the music directors are S.D. Burman, of course, and Amitabh Bachchan.
See, it's a very strange thing happened. Amitji saw Chup, and he was moved by it, and he called me and he said, I want to speak to you. So I went across, and he told me a lot of things about the film, and I won't say that, let him say whatever he feels that. So he just said, no, but I want to play you something, exactly how I feel.
Oh.
So he took me to the piano nearby, and he played something which he had recorded there. Okay, when I was singing Sunny, when I was singing Dulquer, when I was singing Shreya, I had certain feelings and this thing, and I just played it. I didn't know how to express it in words, I just played it. So, this is what it is. This is my feeling for the film. I said, what's that? So I said, what are you going to do with this, Sonji? Nothing, I just played it for fun, and I just did it for you. And he's not a trained pianist or whatever, he just learned it on his own, he's just playing something. So I said, give it to me. So what are you going to do with it? I'll do something with it, give it to me. So he said, okay, then I'll just put it in the studio and give this stuff. So, but what are you going to do with it? So I'll run it as the end credit, the credit title scene. So it's actually one of those things which was actually done after him seeing Chup. So it's possibly one of the most sensitive things that people can kind of hear as a compliment. Not a word, not anything else, but just somebody's played, composed an original piece of music for a film that he was, moved by. So it's for me very precious.
Your film Sita Ramam has done exceedingly well, not just in India but abroad as well. And here you're doing a different kind of a role, which is so different from Ram, the army guy, the lieutenant. What's your zone? I mean, what's happening right now? How is your career looking like in your mind?
Peculiar and interesting, I think, to say the least. It's been just so organic. Like I get these inquiries, and and these are from like legitimate, celebrated filmmakers, like Balki sir. And I'm just amazed that they are willing to give me these opportunities, even though I may not, be native to the language. And
no, that's not true. He's native to every language he works in. He's the only guy who he's actually he's a Malayali. He's a Kerala. But he speaks Tamil like a Tamilian.
Yeah.
He speaks Telugu like a person from Andhra. He speaks Hindi like a North Indian. He speaks every language like he was born to. Very few people in the world who can do that.
Yeah.
And he's got that gift, so he's not.
And he's
people are not celebrating him for nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
there are times when people have been criticizing me for this, saying, I'm trying to keep my feet in multiple boats, and therefore I'm going to sink because I'm never in one industry, and I'm kind of juggling so many things. I think I'm also of this generation that's all about life experiences. And, so many youngsters today are traveling, are trying new things, are not doing conventional jobs. And so I guess I want to be a little unconventional as an actor because I want to experience all of these industries. And I genuinely enjoy that. I love the different cultures. I love the different teams I work with.
So are you spending more time in Mumbai?
I'm definitely living out of a suitcase.
But interestingly, when you see the trailer, and I saw you and then I saw him. His father was an established actor, producer, director, stalwart in Hindi cinema. Your father, Mammootty ji, is such a big name. What did you have to learn from him, and how do you see him as a growing talent? If there was one advice you could give to him, कि बेटे हिंदी सिनेमा ऐसे चलता है. So what can you tell him?
ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं है. I'm so happy that he knows so many languages and he's doing everywhere, which I don't think anyone else is capable of doing it or is doing it. I'm not so sure. Am I right or wrong? I don't know.
Very few people.
Very few.
And you've never done any film in any other language, have you?
No, I haven't. I'm going to say Hindi हो जाए उतनी बहुत है. It's a great time right now, if you ask me frankly, for the youth, because it's पहले होता था ये हिंदी है, ये है, ये है. But I think the cinema is becoming like one cinema, and it was high time it happened that way.
Yes.
So then the talent can be, shared everywhere instead of just simply everybody borrowing it from here and making it theirs. And I'm so happy and so proud of him the way he is going, and I'm sure he'll go ahead with all the opportunities.
Yeah.
Amazingly, I know we're aware of, Sunny sir being Dharam sir's son and all of this, and being from that family. But over the years, he's so known for who he is.
Yeah.
He saw his own identity.
Yeah, he's so Sunny Deol. You can't give him another character.
All through shoot, I wasn't thinking of that. I was only thinking it's Sunny sir, and he's known for this. He's this kind of an actor, and I'm getting to work with him.
Yeah.
Literally today is our first day of promotions, and when we were talking is when I'm relating so much to the things he's saying, because now I'm reminded that, Sunny sir is also from his lineage, and that was amazing for me, that I don't relate that to him when I'm watching him on screen or when I'm working with him. So that for me is, I think, gives me some confidence that I can make a name for myself.
The trailer actually clearly says that my film is my baby, and how dare you are venomous with your reaction to my baby. And then he gives those stars and engraves them with a sharp knife or something. You can answer this, Balki sir. Guru Dutt would never have done that. And secondly, should or can artists be really, really sensitive to their products, emotionally get attached to them, and also get very, very affected by the financial aspect of that, because the industry is fickle. I have had friends whose fathers were producers, and they tell me gory stories of how their houses were sold off and things like that. Yet they're not very negative or not very full of. What's your take on that?
I think you met lucky people, because I feel that when an artist is supposed to be sensitive, means a thin skin. Then you suddenly tell the same person, develop a thick skin when it comes to opinions, take the criticism on your chin and kind of move on. It's very lucky if a person can switch from a thin skin to a thick skin. What if some people can't?
Okay.
They can either kind of go into depression, like Guru Dutt did. Besides, of course, this is one of the reasons, Kaagaz Ki Pool's failure, Kaagaz Ki Pool's criticism also was
he
one of.
He didn't make a film after that.
Yeah, he didn't make a film after that. One of the reasons, of course. But it doesn't necessarily mean that all depression is like that. Anything can happen, because the mind is such a strange kind of a thing that depression can kind of really can make you very upset or very angry. One of the two. So Gurudutt was, I mean, we were very lucky that Gurudutt was only depressed, became depressed about this himself and didn't harm anybody else. Okay, but what if another artist experienced something internally that Gurudutt didn't? Okay, I mean, it's very strange. We only quote examples of people. We love to see artists who we've destroyed and say, oh, how depressed and how sad. Okay, we've rarely met artists who we've tried to destroy and they are striking back.
Thank you, Mr. Salmaan.
Thank
you,
you.
Mr.
Thank you.
Balki.
Thank
and
you.
thank you, Mr. Deol.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Time for a short break on the show. When we come back, we have director Jasmeet K Reen, the director of Darlings, and singer Deedar Kaur with some music. Welcome back after the break. I'm Atika Farooqui. Darlings was that rare dark comedy that was unanimously loved by both critics and audiences. The film, which dropped in August earlier this year on Netflix, can easily be called that bona fide blockbuster which doesn't bore, even though on a repeat viewing. And up next, we have film's director Jasmeet K Reen in conversation with my colleague Vishal Chatkara about the film that changed her life.
One of the films that changed my life was American Beauty. When I watched it, it blew my mind. I thought it was a very interesting, dark comedy with so much pain and melancholy and self-realization in that sense. Inherently, the film is about loneliness. And when you have self-esteem issues, you do become lonely. You feel like you don't belong. Like Lester, played by Kevin Spacey in the film, this film starts with his voiceover where he says that I'm going to die. And the whole film you're like wondering, oh my God, how is this going to happen? But the film is a drama, it's not a thriller. And his character, where he is going through a midlife crisis, he's just trying to find himself, he's in an unhappy marriage, and you realize that he was happy once. I love the dinner table scenes. The first dinner table scene where they are just talking and that classical music is playing and the daughter, it says so much. It tells you that when the daughter asks the mother, it tells you how this is an everyday thing. It tells you who's in charge of the house. It tells you that the father and the daughter used to be friends. It tells you how he's lost connection with his wife and daughter. Just like one camera going in for the longest time. And you have those roses there, which is metaphorically very important for American Beauty. There is so much to learn. Maybe not directly for Darlings, but of course it prepares you. All the characters are layered. All the characters have very, very definite arcs. Annette Bening's character, Lester's wife, she's obsessed with success. She looks at her husband as a loser. She also is seeking happiness and she finds pleasure in all the wrong things. Like she has an affair with the realtor. When she's caught by her husband, also she snaps and she rebels and she fights with him. And how that character comes full circle by the end of it. How his daughter, who is an outcast, she basically thinks that she's not physically perfect. And how she finds that one man who actually sees her, the Ricky's character, who we feel is stalking her, but who sees her and finds her beautiful. There she finds herself because she doesn't have to be physically perfect. How her best friend Angela, beautiful character again, who sees herself through male gaze. And she's the one who tells the daughter that your father's not had sex in the longest time. And you know, the father is hitting on her. Angela's scene with Lester in the end, where he backs off, you know, where she tells him that actually you realize that Angela is just seeing herself through male gaze. She's also so empty inside. So sometimes we don't appreciate the smaller things in life. And I think that's also what the film is about. That plastic bag scene is a classic example. I had tears in my eyes when I watched it for the first time. You can actually see beauty in a lot of things and you mostly sometimes have things you need. It's just that you focus on things that you do not have. The color red, yes. The roses in American Beauty. The film is called American Beauty because of the roses. They said that you artificially, you know, it's a metaphor. The rose is a metaphor that you artificially grow and they smell nothing. In our film, it's a lovely coincidence. Red is the freedom color for Badru. So every time she dreams in red. And that was our thing. So she's actually, if you see, not worn red at all in the film. and that was conscious. He had a red pop in many scenes. Yes, but subconsciously hua hoga wo. I like that line, there is so much beauty in the world. It affected me so much, but the ending, I was very, I wasn't happy that he dies. I didn't want him to die. But then when I watched it again, I realized why that happens. His graph is so interesting in the film, where he's a victim, where he's blaming himself, and then he starts blaming other people, and comes out on his own, does what he feels like, and then in the end he's actually realizing who he is, and there's so much gratitude in the last voiceover that comes, that he realizes that even though he's lost touch with his wife and daughter, at least they are with him. Every once in a while you watch a film which really stimulates you, makes you fall in love with cinema again and again and over and again. So this is one of those films.
Sibling singers are not new to Bollywood. Singer Asees Kaur's sister Deedar Kaur is the latest one to join this club. She has a new song out titled Aisi Ki Taisi from the film Jahan Char Yaar, which by the way is already in cinemas. My colleague Vishal Chatkara spoke to Deedar about her new song and lots more.
कुछ गलतियां है लाज़मी सुन जरा शरीफ आदमी हो कुछ गलतियां है लाज़मी सुन जरा शरीफ आदमी गुस्ताख सा ये बात कह रहा सुन जरा oh and here comes Nika Paji.
That was very nice. So how would you like to describe your joy and excitement today as your new song Aisi Ki Taisi dropped just a few days ago?
I'm like super excited because it's my second song for Bollywood, and moreover it has a great cast, a great team. Everything I think is great in this movie. The song is with Mika Paji और किंग ऑफ पॉप है वो, तो ये तो आई थिंक सबका सपना होता है कि मीका पाजी के साथ गाने को मौका मिले, और मेरा बॉलीवुड का जो दूसरा गाना है वही मुझे मिल गया मीका पाजी के साथ, तो मैं तो कल से बहुत खुश हूँ.
Yeah, you're not new to film music. Earlier this year in July, your another song, More, which was part of the film Jerry, was released. How was the response of the song, and are you flooded with offers from music composers for films right now?
कॉल्स उतने ही है जितने पहले थे, गाने उतने ही है जितने पहले थे, लेकिन हाँ थोड़ा थोड़ा लोगों का बर्ताव थोड़ा सा ऑब्वियसली बदल गया है. लेकिन अगर हम कहें कि कॉल जैसे बहुत सारे आ रहे हैं, तो आई डोंट थिंक वो एक किसी गाने से ऐसा कि बोलते हैं ना रातों रात स्टार, वो रात बहुत लंबी होती है, जो काट रहा होता है उसी को ही पता होती है, वो रातों रात वाला अभी तो नहीं है. आई थिंक आगे आके हो जाए शायद. भीतर भीतर हैप्पी हैप्पी बालक जे घनघोर, हाँ डगमग डगमग नाचे ताबड़ तोड़ 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 ताबड़ तोड़ तोड़ तोड़, ए बेगानी शादी में अब्दुल दीवाना, यो बालक है कौन, यो बालक है कौन, यो बालक देखो बन जावेगा मोर, ये बन गया देखो मोर 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 नाचे मोर मोर मोर.
Ah, nice. Oh, what a nice voice you have.
Thank you.
You know, Deedar, your sister Asees Kaur is right now one of the topmost singer of the industry.
Yes, yes.
How has been your journey so far, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of being Asees Kaur's sister today for you?
Yeah,
feel?
very good question and very tricky one also. The advantages are कि असीस की जितनी लाइफ हमने क्लोजली देखी है, आई हैव सीन हर जर्नी. सो द एडवांटेजेस कि मुझे बहुत सारी चीजें पता होती हैं कि ऐसा होने वाला है, जैसे कि गाना गाया है कि कभी रिस्पांस क्या कैसा आएगा, इट कुड गेट रिप्लेस्ड. और डिसएडवांटेज ये होता है कि अगर आपकी बहन बहुत अच्छा गाती है, जो कि वो थैंकफुली गाती है, लोग आपको कंपेयर करते हैं. पर इसके लिए मतलब कहने के लिए डिसएडवांटेज है, पर मुझे जनरली इफेक्ट नहीं करता, बिकॉज बचपन से ये था, मुझे कभी भी छोटी असीस या दूसरी असीस नहीं बनना था, मुझे शुरू से दीदार कौर बनना था. तो लोग कंपैरिजन करते हैं, वो उनकी प्रॉब्लम है. मैं कभी कंपैरिजन के अंदर नहीं आती, क्योंकि मुझे कभी असीस से कंपेयर होना ही नहीं है, मुझे दीदार कौर बनना है.
Yeah, like you said, you learned tabla while growing up. So how important it is for a singer to have knowledge about a musical instrument, and how it helped in shaping your singing?
अगर आपने कहावत सुनी हो कि बेसुरा फिर भी मंजूर है, लेकिन बेताला मंजूर नहीं है. So since I belong to the category जो तबला सीख के गाना गा रहे हैं, तो ये बहुत अच्छी चीज है. और मेरे ना बहुत सारी सिंगिंग स्टाइल्स में वो चीज झलकती है कि जो मैं ताल के साथ थोड़ा थोड़ा क्रिस्प करती हूँ गाने में, जो मैं नखरे लगाती हूँ या जो मैं अपनी हरकतें लगाती हूँ, वो मेरी ताल से बेस्ड मतलब इंस्पायर्ड होती हैं. और अगर आप एग्जांपल के लिए, तो गुलाम अली खान साहब, नुसरत फतेह अली खान साहब, मेहंदी हसन खान साहब, ये सब पहले तबला प्लेयर होते थे. और आप देख लो वो कितना खूबसूरत गाता है, क्योंकि उस आर्टिस्ट को जिसने अगर तबला सीखा या कोई भी बीट का इंस्ट्रूमेंट सीखा है, यू हैव अ लिटिल मोर डीपर नॉलेज ऑफ ताल, एंड वो आपकी फिर वो गायकी में ना झलकती है। वो जो आप इरादा लगाते हो या जो आप ट्विस्ट करते हो ना, वो आई थिंक जिसको ताल की कम नॉलेज है वो नहीं कर सकता।
How would you like to explain to our viewers what is teen tal in tabla?
Teen tal is a tal of 16 beats, and it's generally played with the classical form of singing, bada khayal or chota khayal for that sake. So it's generally played with the classical form of singing.
Would you like to show us like a little bit of teen tal, takke din something? That's how
Oh my.
isn't it?
Teen tal, the bowl, a basic bowl of teen tal is dha din din dha dha din din dha dha din din dha dha din din dha dha.
That's all that we had for you in this episode of Now Showing. I say goodbye to you. You be good, you be kind, and watch only good cinema, because we are what we watch. Signing off. Goodbye.